Podcasting from her kitchen table, it's Jacqueline J. Here with another episode of Cast Iron Skillet Chronicles, where we focus on faith, family, fun, and finance for my fierce, fly, and fabulous sisters over 40. Come on in the kitchen. Coffee's brewing. Pull up a chair and girl, let's talk. Now, here is your host for Cast Iron Skillet Chronicles, Jacqueline J. Good evening. So welcome back to the kitchen, everyone. Thank you so very much for joining me today. And I am so very excited to have in the kitchen visiting with me today, Dr. Sadie McConner. She is a podiatrist, a radio show host, just an overall well-rounded individual. And on a personal note, my soror as well in Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. So Dr. McConner, thank you so very much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for inviting me to be in the kitchen with you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Could you tell our family a little bit more about yourself, what it is you do, and some of the passions and passion areas that are important to you?
Well, I'm a faculty member at a chiropractic college here in Florida. I teach human anatomy. I've been teaching human anatomy for over 25 years now. I've taught anatomy of the, osteology, histology, anatomy of the abdomen, the pelvis, reproductive system, all of that. Have actually worked on cadaverous specimens and dissected for many, many, many years. I'm a trained podiatrist. I attended the Ohio College of Podiatric Medicine, which is now associated with Kent State University. My bachelor's I received at Winston-Salem State University in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. My major there was biology with a minor in chemistry. I left there and went to North Carolina Central University and worked on a master's in biology with a minor in microbiology, and then went on to podiatry school. Since then, I have actually gone back to school. I went back to school in 2015. Mm-hmm. And that's near and dear. I think, as time goes on in your life, you find out what you should have done years ago. Right. I received my master's, and I was in the first class at Bethune-Cookman University. It was 5 of us. In the first class in their master's in public health. The master's in public health is with the concentration in health equity. We were the first in the nation to have the concentration in health equity. I just say, I just learned so much at Bethune-Cookman University with that master's in public health. My dean, Dr. Worthington, I take my hat off to her, lift my leg, everything. She just exposed me, and my classmates. It wasn't just me, but she exposed us to so much. We were able to attend the American Public Health Association conference in Denver, Colorado. She gifted us this plane ticket, hotel, everything. I was blessed to receive a scholarship to attend a public health intensive course at Tuskegee University with the National Center of Bioethics. When I was there for an entire week, that just left quite an impression on me. I have to admit, met ambassadors, attorneys. I met the late Barbara King. Barbara King, oh my gosh, we kept in contact. Barbara King I think she received her PhD, her doctorate at the age of 80. And I said, that's when when you make excuses in your life of what you can't do when you can't do it, because I was telling her, I was interested in getting my PhD in public health because I just have fallen in love with public health, excuse me. And I had the nerve to tell her, well, I think it's too late. And she just looked at me like, what? Are you telling me it's too late? I was like, oh. I said, exactly. She was just like, not me, not I. You're not telling me. a phenomenal woman. But the public health intensive course, it knocked me off my feet because I was able to meet, I had seen Mrs. Evers' Boys, the movie, and
Right.
I knew that the Tuskegee study was true, but to actually, I was in line for to register for the course, and they asked me, ma'am, what line are you in? Are you in line as an attendant or you a descendant? That's when it hit me in the chest. I said, whoa,
wow,
this is real. This is real.
right.
This is not a joke. And I said, oh my goodness. Yeah, I said, no, I'm here for registration. And then, then I went to listen, and I was just really involved because they have it every year. And what they do is they do restorative justice, because they don't do retributive justice, restorative justice, because at this point in time, they can't, who do they get back for doing what they did?
Exactly.
So they're there to try to get themselves together to carry on the legacy of their family member. I was shocked to find out, a lot of people may have already known that, but I was shocked to find out that there were 623 Black men involved in this study.
Wow.
623 Black men. Goodness. And I was also shocked to find out that it lasted for 40 years.
Wow. Now that I did not know.
40 years, from 1932 to 1972.
Oh my goodness.
Well, and what was even crazier about that, okay, it started in 1932, the research, but in 1942, 43, syphilis was, penicillin known that it could cure syphilis. Right. Remember, in 1943, the research continued to 1972. So knowingly, they were not rendering care to these men.
Wow.
Yeah. And the first researcher was out of Norway, and he came to Tuskegee University, at Tuskegee College at the time, because he had done research on syphilis with European men, and he wanted to know how it would affect men of African descent.
Okay.
So that has been that was quite intensive for me, but I have really I advocate here, in Volusia and Flagler County for the Black maternal and infant mortality. It's Black women and babies are dying like crazy. It is just really, really, really bad. And once I don't know, if we're in the kitchen, some of you might want to go online and go onto YouTube and see. It's called Death by Delivery. If that doesn't move you to do something, I don't know what will.
Oh my goodness.
And it just talks, and this is not, and a lot of people say, oh, this happened years ago. No, you can go right now, Google, what's the statistics with Black women dying in childbirth? What is the statistics with Black babies dying before they make 1 year of age? And you will find out that they normally give you the numbers are out of 1,000. The general population is usually about maybe 6 babies that die out of 1,000. In the Black population, it's 12 to 13 babies that die.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Right. And so when I watched Death by Delivery, I said, I cannot watch this and show this, because I teach public health at the chiropractic college as well. Show this, talk about this, and not, I don't know, God uses your hands and you can do what you want to do. But I said, I've got to do something. I got to talk to somebody. And that's exactly what I did. And so that it kind of piqued my interest, also graduating from the Master's in Public Health program to start some clinical research, because I kept on finding out that more and more research as I went to different meetings, because I just jumped out, graduated, and I became a member of the American Public Health Association. But I actually joined and became be able to represent the podiatry section and the action board. And the action board, as a SARA, about social action with Delta. We're founded on social action.
Absolutely.
Well, that's exactly. I'm the chair of the social action committee in my chapter, and I've always been very active with social action. So when I joined the action board for the American Public Health Association, that's the same thing. What we did was the American Public Health Association developed health policy briefs that they wanted us to introduce to the different legislators, United States legislators. So usually once a year, we go to Washington, D.C., and we meet with the congressmen and the senators or their assistants. And because of Delta Sigma Theta sorority, I got to give us our due. It is what it is. It is what it is. We were the ones in 1913 to walk in the suffrage march.
Exactly.
We were.
Yes.
You know, that's not a lie. So we've been social action for a long time. And so it was so funny because we had representatives from all the different sections of public health, oral health, nursing, all that. And I had already gone to meet my representative because I knew what to do. And they had we sat at the table at the headquarters, and they said, McConner, so what are your plans? How do you do? I said, I've already gone. And they're like, what? I said, I've already gone. I said, I already left this at Nancy Pelosi's office. I left this at Val Deming's office.
Yes.
I left this at this one's office. I went to visit another Congress, and they're like, I was like, so I said, I had to tell them, I said, my sorority, we do social action every year. Right. I said, we go to the state capitol, we go to the United States Capitol, we go to the United Nations. So, and I was just so blessed that weekend. Congressman Val Demings, I went to her office, and she let me, she had her assistants make sure that I got a nice tour. They pulled me in the front of the line. I saw all the people, and I was like, "Ooh, they're in line." And then, and I said, because she's a soror too,
right? Yes.
So I had all this clout with that, and it was just a beautiful affair. And I met a soror getting on the plane to go there, and she made sure that I got to my hotel safely.
Oh my goodness.
I just had all kind of favor that weekend. I did. I got to go to the museum, the national. You hear me? I call it the museum.
Right, the museum. Yeah,
that's right. There's no other museum as far as the museum.
That's right.
I got to go to that, and I got the soror that picked me up that I met on the airplane. She had a friend that worked there, and I could never get a ticket. He walked me in. I said, favor of God, just not fair. Okay. Just not fair. I said, but that's all right. I was blessed. But so I love just going out and really, I remember hearing this as a child. There was some monk in New York City that had said, he said, when all is said and done, more is said than done. And that's stuff I said, I don't mind talking, but we need to do some moving. We need to do some moving, some walk.
Put our hands to work. Yes.
Yeah, because this is
absolutely.
And I've been blessed that more recently I have met some other women with the same passion, and we're trying to develop a collaborative. What we have found is that if Black women have doulas, and I don't know if you, the people that are listening may be familiar with, doula is an advocate. They are just your advocate during your childbirth. There are doulas that are birth doulas, and they're also death doulas. I didn't know about that. I've had to learn that. I didn't know that.
Yes, no.
And I found out my first cousin is actually a death doula. She lives in Durham, North Carolina.
Oh.
I didn't know. And so the birthing doula is to be there to help you during your the birthing process, because when you're in pain and you can't talk to the doctor like you need to, or ask for what you need to ask for, and she can speak for you. And also what we found was also having midwives. United States of America has really minimized midwifery, and the countries that have a large amount of midwives have a lesser mortality rate.
Wow. And
we definitely need it. We've had so many issues with, we think about Serena Williams. We think about Judge Hatch, her daughter-in-law. It's so many Black women that have lost their lives or have lost their children or their lives because they did not have the advocacy. They didn't the health disparities in healthcare. I've experienced it. I'm dealing with something myself with a physician. When you have to speak up for yourself. Right. And I think about Dr. Susan Moore, God bless her soul. Sorority sister. She was a physician. COVID-19 said what was going on with her, told them, and she did not receive the care that she should have received. So that is definitely my passion, to advocate for others that can't advocate for themselves.
Absolutely. Excellent. Yeah. Excellent. Now, a couple of things that you mentioned, like to kind of touch on a little bit. A little while ago, you mentioned the person that had graduated with their PhD at 90, and you mentioned that you just went back to school several years ago for your advanced degree as well. Can you talk to the family about, and you touched on it a little bit, but, just because you're of a certain age does not mean that no. Life is over. If you have, something that the Lord has laid on your hands or your heart to do, to move forward with it. Can you talk about that?
You ought to. I think that if, as far as we know, he said to live our lives abundantly. That's what he left us to do. Yeah. And if that is what that is your heart's desire, go after it. What is stopping you? Mm-hmm. When I went, I'll be, boy, I say boy, because I think about when I went to undergrad, my family, other people had gone and got their bachelor's degree. So I was all right. My siblings, I was all right. Mm-hmm. But then when I went to get my master's, even my parents, they were like, why are you going back to school? I was like, what am I going to do with a major in biology and a minor in chemistry? I've got to go on advance. Right. And they were like, well, you can come here in New Bern, North Carolina, where they live, and teach. I was like, oh, no, not New Bern. I'm sorry, because I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. Mm-hmm. And New Bern obviously is much slower. Today, it's much slower than Brooklyn, New York. Okay. Yes. So I was just like, oh no, I can't stay here. So I was like, no, this is horrible. But yes, I have to say, I've had naysayers for a long time. I've had to fight off a lot of people, friends, family, close family, who have discouraged me. When I went back to school, get my master's, and I graduated from Winston-Salem State in May, and I started the master's in biology in August. Okay. So I didn't really take a break. Right. And when I left the North Carolina Central in Durham, North Carolina, actually, I was still working on finishing up that master's when I was getting ready to start podiatry school. So, yeah. So, me and working on my master's in public health, I was a full-time student. And I was a full-time faculty member, and I had the nerve to teach at a local college, Daytona State College, teach the massage therapy students twice a week anatomy and physiology.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
So I was not. I was not very sane. That was not very sane. I believe I had resigned as the lab coordinator, and that freed me up. Freed me up. And so I was excited. I said I had always wanted to do public health, and I had done adjunct at Bethune-Cookman University. So the dean, he said, well, we're starting our program. We started it 2 weeks ago. I said, 2 weeks ago? I said, it's too late. He said, no. He said, it's not too late. He said, let me make some phone calls. That's the difference between going to an HBCU, make a couple of phone calls. He called. Right. He told them, he said, hey, she's interested in the program. They said, send her on. I said, but I'm 2 weeks behind. I said, and I haven't been to school as a student in years. Right. They were like, oh, you'll do fine. I was like, oh my. So it was an adjustment because, weekends, sometimes you want to relax. I had to write papers. Yeah. Friends would say, let's go to this. I said, I got a paper due. And they were like, what you doing? I was like, yeah. And so, yes, you may be discouraged. You may be discouraged by people that are right there, but you'll be so surprised. If God has laid it on your heart, do it. Do it. Yes. They're going to complain and fuss at you or about you, whether you do it or you don't do it. And it's so funny that, once you finish it, I was the first one. There's six of my siblings. I have one brother and four sisters. Yeah, I think I was the first one I think I was. My brother, he has 2 master's degrees, and my younger sister has 2 masters, and my sister Rosa has 1 master's degree. But I think, I know, I think I'm not, if I'm not mistaken, I was the first one to go on to go on to get a secondary or a graduate degree. But it
Okay.
was no, I did get it the encouragement that some people would like to think. Oh,
Right.
I've had naysayers. Unfortunately, I've even had men in my life. I remember leaving Durham, going to
Mm-hmm.
podiatry school. Had a guy that I was dating there, and he said, "Well, if you don't go to school, we can get married."
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So,
Wow.
if yeah. So that lets you know where he was standing, and he wasn't the only. There was another. I didn't have the encouragement that people would like to think. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't get it. I
Oh my
didn't get it.
goodness.
I did not. I did not get it. People would say, "Well, why do you keep going to school?" I was like, I had to. You get on the defensive, and you say,
Right.
Did I ask you for any money?
Exactly.
Did I ask you to watch my child? Did
Yes,
I,
yes.
you get up, you really do, because you're just like, what am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
You can say, you said, oh, I was a drug dealer or something illegal, unethical or immoral, but no, I was
Mm-hmm.
going to school.
Exactly.
I thought that was honorable.
That's a good thing, right? Yeah, exactly.
But I think that what it really comes from, and if they really try to analyze their reasoning, it's because they are upset that you
Mm-hmm.
are courageous
Mm-hmm.
enough to do what they would like to do.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's what I think it
Absolutely.
is. I really think it is.
Absolutely.
Because when you go and you do it, they look back at you. Because even when I went back in 2015 to 2017,
Mm-hmm.
even with some of my sorority sisters, go to the meetings and stuff. And I didn't even tell anybody until I was already a year in the program.
Okay.
And I mentioned it during a meeting. They were like, "You in school?" I was like, "As a matter of fact, I'm getting ready to graduate," because I was announcing that I had received like 2 or 3 scholarships.
Mm.
Because I was so blessed, I didn't have to pay. I paid maybe $4,000 or $5,000 for my master's, and that was it.
Amen. Oh, that's
And I
wonderful.
had received, because they would ask for announcements and stuff, and I said, "Oh, I received the DuPont scholarship," and they're like, "Why you need a scholarship? I'm in school." And they
Mm-hmm.
were like, "You're in school?" And I was like, "Yes." They were like, "You're in school again?" I was like,
Wow.
yeah. And I was like, did I bother you? Did I? Yeah. So, but you have to, you really have to. So whoever it is and that's listening, just like this song, says, encourage yourself. If that
Mm-hmm.
is what your heart desires, go after it.
That's it.
This is your life. This is your life. I really believe in people knowing that this is your body, this is your life. You do what God has placed on your heart, because
Mm.
I think about it with me advocating for maternal Black women and maternal mortality and infant mortality.
Mm-hmm.
Does that concern me personally? No, I have a son. He's an adult. I have a grandson. They're fine. But it concerns me because I care about human beings as a whole.
Right.
And we all should,
Right.
the
Yeah.
truth of the matter, as we all should. Now, do we?
Not
And
always.
not always. And, and
Mm-hmm.
I understand you do have to take care of, you got to do self-preservation. That is true. But you do, I just definitely believe in giving back, because I know there was so many people that have been here and supported me.
Mm-hmm.
So even though I had the naysayers, I had people that were there that, adopted me when I was in undergrad. You're my daughter. You need something to eat. You need someplace to go.
Oh, that's
Here.
wonderful.
That's my house. When I was in grad school at Central, every place I've ever gone, I've adopted a family.
Mm-hmm.
And and that's just what it is. I was somewhere today, and one lady said, "You haven't been here that long," but she said, "But you know everybody." But I was like, I don't know everybody, but I've been involved in community health fairs and things like that. I was a hometown, the Juneteenth hometown hero in
Yes.
2016. I was honored
Okay.
to get that. But I was, because I've just been involved in the community, help people register to vote, help with, we had the felony laws that wouldn't allow people to vote here in Florida,
Right.
help to advocate for that. I'm just, sometimes I don't think I'm really that busy, but then people say, well, look at the things that you're doing.
Did you
And
do
I'm
right?
like,
Yes. Yeah.
but I just, I write for a magazine called Emerging Black out of Jacksonville. I've done, I did one article during the pandemic, which I was very proud of, which talked about the pandemics that African Americans deal with. And I was very, very proud of that, because we've gone through so much.
Mm-hmm.
I constantly talk to friends of mine, and I'm going to probably have on the radio show someone that's going to talk about mental health. I've had people in our community, and I tell you, I was talking to a friend of mine a day or two ago, and I said, it is amazing. It is amazing to me that us as African Americans, that we have the sanity that we have.
Mm.
And I say that because of the trauma that we have endured and the trauma that we continue to endure.
Absolutely.
And
You're
so,
right.
If anything, and for us, it's really kind of, it doesn't make any sense to me. We have endured and continue to endure such trauma, but yet and still we shame each other if we get mental health help. I'm confused. I'm totally confused. Can you explain that to me, Jackie?
I wish I could. There is no shame in my game. I absolutely have a therapist, and I tell you what, I would not be sitting here in this kitchen with you right now if it wasn't for my therapist and the grace of God. So absolutely.
That's what I don't understand. We need to make it commonplace, because it has definitely has an effect on us mentally, the traumas, but it has an effect on us physically. Right. There's a phenomenon called weathering. Are you familiar with that?
I'm not.
Weathering. Oh gosh, I hate to even tell you what it says. Weathering. Why some of the Black women are dying earlier? Because what we're doing is we're waiting later on in life, once we received our degrees and we're in our profession. So we're waiting until our early 30s, maybe even late 30s to have a baby. Well, that increases your chances of preeclampsia. Okay. That increases your chances of different things. But women, it's called weathering. Weathering says that because of the trauma, the micro and macro, I say macro aggressions that you and I deal with every day, it not only takes a toll on our minds, but it takes a toll on the organs in our bodies.
Wow.
It is said that our organs are 7 to 8 years older than we are chronologically.
Oh my goodness.
Because of the trauma that we deal with every day.
Oh my goodness.
Our cortisol levels from our adrenal gland are high. Cortisol goes high, it's fight or flight. Well, we have chronic anxiety. So our immune response is down. So that's why, remember, I think, you've heard the saying, America catches a cold and Black population catches the flu. Yes. That's because when your immune system is suppressed, anything that comes along, you're going to get it, and you're going to get it worse. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah. Well, wow. Believe me, I didn't want to read this.
My goodness.
I didn't want to read this. I've presented at very health fairs, and I just want someone to listen. I'm just blessed.
Exactly. I definitely hear you on that.
Just one. Yes. If God blesses, there's more than, but just someone. And it's good. I feel blessed when I meet someone at an event or something, and they'll say, "Oh, Sadie, I love your show, your radio show. It's that's a hidden treasure. All the material things you do." And I said, "God, thank you, Lord. Somebody's listening."
Right.
Because I do put effort forward to get mental health counselors. I've had a pastor on to talk about religion and men. Why aren't men so much more involved in the church? I've had women come and talk about breastfeeding. I've had women talk about the Black Maternal Week. I've had people talking about student loans and things of that nature. And so I want, give them the education so that they can proceed.
Absolutely.
But yeah, there's lots of things on this in this. Sometimes I think I don't have that much going on, or things that I'm thinking about, and then people bring it to my attention and say, no, you got a lot going on. But I am blessed. I thank God for giving me the opportunity to do some things, and to do some things that will have an impact, hopefully, on other people.
Absolutely.
In a positive way.
Yes, definitely. Well, it sounds like, it sounds like you've already found that one. So Lord willing, the Lord will bless that, that increases and multiplies as well. So, I mean, I don't even know where to begin. I just thank you so very much for coming and hanging out for a little bit and sharing just a little bit. We definitely have to have another conversation because I have my own personal theory about the part of the mental health
Okay.
issue you were kind of you were speaking about just a little
Okay.
bit, but that's another conversation for another day. But
Okay.
thank you
Okay.
so
Okay.
very much for your time. Now, you mentioned your radio show, so just before we leave today, can you let our listeners know how they can reach you? Let them know about your radio show, how they can tune in and listen in.
Okay. The radio show is on WAIG 106.3 FM. It's a gospel radio station here in Daytona Beach, Florida. You can listen to it via the app, and you can also listen to it via, on Facebook Live. I normally put it on Facebook Live. What I'm looking at my phone is a phone number. I really people would call in. Their number, because I like to converse with them. I want to talk with them. Even by listening, I'll have a guest on them and we're conversing and we want the input of other people because my opinion is not gospel. And I always want to listen. I want to know, what are you thinking? How are you thinking about it? Because my mind is open. I'm like, oh, never thought about it like that. Right. Never, didn't see it that way. The radio station number is 386-516-8031. My radio show is called Your Best Life. It comes on Wednesdays live from 5 until 6 p.m. I jokingly say that because I had a couple of ladies that came on a couple of years ago about domestic violence. And one of them used profanity. She was like, oh, just erase it off. I said, honey, no, it's live. It's already gone. It's already in the universe.
Yes.
Yeah. And she was like, what? I said, yeah, it's out there.
Right.
And this is radio. Oh, but I do want to mention that I have started a company in 2018, and I'm working on it, trying to get this started completely. It's called MCRD LLC. It's McConner Research and Development Company. I'm planning to do clinical research that is more diverse. Am I the first one? No, but I always give the analogy is when you go into the store and you buy a shampoo, they've got 20, 30, about 50, 100 things of shampoo. And they all of them are in business. Mm-hmm. They all thrive, and people still try to pick out which shampoo they want, right? As simple as that. With combs, with eyeglasses, how many frames are out there? Gosh.
Absolutely.
But people still. So I'd like to just because I want to make sure that we diversify clinical research, because right now the drugs that we are taking for our medications that we're taking have been clinically researched in white males. The clinical research for us actually occurs when our physician writes a prescription. Okay, he or she gets to find out then how your body is going to react to that medication. Wow. And if you notice, when you watch a commercial of a new medication that's out, the commercial, when it first comes out, they'll say, oh, maybe some nausea and vomiting. And as time goes on, they say nausea, vomiting, dizziness, hair loss, and you're like, That's because as time has gone on, they've found out different side effects how it has affected different people. We are all not the same. God made us wonderfully made. And teaching anatomy for so long, I have seen the insides of bodies for so many years. And I tell you, God is just truly amazing. Truly amazing. I know he remembers when I went over, I was doing the dissecting the abdomen and some of the arteries that give blood supply to our liver and our pancreas and our stomach. And I was dissecting and seeing the interworkings. It was like roadmaps. And I said, God, you are better than a bag of chips. Look what you did. Look what you did. And it's just wonderful. It's just amazing. And it just, I constantly tell my students, if you think about it, it just makes sense. Mm-hmm. Because everything is connected. If it says this, it means this. It's factual. It's not if that's the liver, it might be the liver. No, that's the liver. That's what it is. Yeah. So.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, thank you for that. That is wonderful. So, yes, and again, thank you so very much for hanging out for just a few minutes with us here in the
Oh,
kitchen.
thank you.
And we've got to have you come back again and visit with us again and provide some more information. And, hopefully, you'll be talking about your clinical trials or, the research and the other information that you'll be doing along those lines, and provide us with some additional information, and not only information, but, maybe ways that we can become involved as well. And especially, like I said, those of us of a certain age, and, the medications and things that are coming out for, those of us that are getting up there, I'm sure that could be of of help to the medical community. So we'll definitely look at exploring that at another time. But thank you so very much. I appreciate your
Welcome.
time.
Thank you. Thank you for
Absolutely.
inviting me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, everyone, take care, stay safe, be well. And until next time, be blessed. Bye now.
Bye-bye.